Greetings and welcome. My name is John S. Caswell. Hope you're doing well. There are a couple of things I'd like to discuss through this video. One is that there's been a lot of, for lack of a better definition, hateful chatter, especially on social networks. And I'd like to apologize to anyone who might have looked at anything I posted in a way that might be disrespectful or um, or dishonorable or offensive. And I certainly wouldn't want to post something that someone looked at as hateful. I apologize, and if anyone believes I've done so, please feel free to connect with me, and we'll try to look at it in a more healthy way. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. The second thing is I have lately posted a number of documents online, and I know that everyone is really busy, and a few people read them, and many have not. But the information contained in those documents is important to me, and I believe it may be to other people as well. That said, last night I opened a account on Tumblr, and I'll be posting on there and on Facebook. And I invite anyone to participate in any way that they so desire in regards to posting videos um, and photos and making comment and things like that. And I encourage people to invite their friends as well, because I believe that we, the people of the United States of America, um, uh, should be afforded opportunity uh, to have our voice heard and to exercise our voice in a way that is most effective for us. That said, I have taken from my book Shellback, which sort of evolved. I started writing it in 1989, 2 years into my recovery, and evolved into a book titled Shellback. And I took from that some excerpts and tweaked them a little bit so that they could be utilized for this purpose. And I call them suggested guidelines for posting on these blogs. And I would appreciate it if people would try to their best ability. I know it's going to be difficult to try to do something similar to these guidelines. Thank you. I'll share them now. Number one, healthy relationships include mutual responsibility. For me, mutual responsibility means accepting responsibility for my part in the relationship while creating, allowing, or inviting the other person opportunity to do the same. Number two, the first step in understanding another person is to remain calm. It's sometimes hard for me to remain in control of how I feel because of the way I allowed another person to treat me. It helps me to think, I believe this person might not treat me in such a manner if he or she knew how I allow it to make me feel. Number three, each person is not only responsible for his feelings, but also for taking appropriate steps to resolve the situation which caused him to allow himself to lose control of them. Number four, in order for the injustice to stop, the person committing the injustice needs to know he or she is doing wrong. Therefore, it is important to let the person know not only that I believe he has mistreated me, but how. Until I address the person, he doesn't understand the full extent of the injustice. Number five, it's important to remember to resolve the situation through calm, honest, open, and direct communication as the situation unfolds or as soon as possible thereafter. I most often try to look at the situation as a learning experience, an opportunity for growth. I've come to better realize that growth sometimes requires some degree of discomfort. When I experience these feelings, I try to remember that they are only temporary. and working through them often results in a greater understanding and appreciation of not only me, but also other people who traveled through the experience with me. Number 6. When reviewing history, it can become evident of suffering. When approaching a person who has hurt you or another person, it might prove helpful to ask yourself, if I had acted in a similar manner as to how he or she treated me or another, how might I want the person to approach me about it? This most often works very well for me. Number 7. I understand the anger, but try to remember, many people, but not all with money, are ill with greed. Some people with money do good work. There is good and bad in every population. There are reasons for this, but many people are sick as a result of actions of people ill with greed. Just as with any label, I try to ask myself, when you hear a label that holds a possible fable, the question is now, what might you do? If you woke up one day, not all that long away, and you learned it had happened to you, what would you do if it happened to strike a brother or a friend? Would you label him, look down on him, never speak with him again? I know it can be challenging, but I try my best to act in a civil manner, especially considering my history, which also includes facts concerning my unjust actions. And my history also includes a wonderful, long-term, and continuing adventure in recovery, through which there is much sharing of my life experiences in hope of generating hope in other people. Number 8. Each person is an individual. The character of each might be determined along those lines. A person's history speaks best about a person, but in many cases, a person's recent history speaks for who the person has become. Has he overcome many challenges? What proves to be his values today? How long might they have been exercised in ways that have been consistent over time? Remember, my clinical diagnosis equals chronic paranoid schizophrenia. Many people look at my history, appearance, or voice and become so fearful, they close the gates to curiosity and deny not only themselves opportunity directly, but also people of our collective ripple effect. This is a reality for many people. Um, Again, I thank you for listening. I invite you to check out my website, my blog spots at Tumblr. My name is John S. Caswell, and I will be creating a blog spot around the book Shellback for people who are interested in participating in a group around substance use and mental health recovery. And I'll post another notice about that at the beginning of the creation of that blog spot. And I'll include a statement that people may want to, for confidentiality's sake, create a separate email address and user ID for that. Thank you for listening. I appreciate all that you do. Remember, we the people, and each of us deserves opportunity to exercise our voice. Many blessings. Bye for now.